everyone, welcome back to Whiskey Racing. We're over at the shop. The fire chicken's behind me. We just got it over here yesterday, so I'm going to go through it, clean it out, strip it down to nothing, and we're going to start putting it back together. So this should be the lowest point we'll see the car at, and it's only up from. So here we are under the hood. I mean, everything's pretty much out. Still got the factory wiring under here I have to pull out, and the heater box. First big project we're going to do is the K member over here, put the LSK member. All right, so Steph's taking off the crash bar to make some room for the intercooler. As much of her as she allows on camera. All right, so we almost have the crash bar off here and loosening up the last nut, I think. Slide it out here. You just save some weight and made room for an intercooler. So there's the car with the crash bar off. And if you look down this frame rail, it was home to a squirrel, I believe. There's a lot of, I think they're nuts. And if you look further back, there's grass and stuff. So we're going to clean this frame rail out. Looking down there, we got most of the squirrel nuts and grass and whatever else was in there. So I think we're good to go. All right, so the factory coolant tank's out. We're going to clean up the bay over there. Alright, so we started cleaning the bay up a little bit here. Fortunately, I don't have water at the shop, so I couldn't pressure wash it. I simple grained it down, scrub brushed it. Looks a heck of a lot better than it did. It's white again, not greasy and slime. Over on this side, just a tiny bit of surface rust there, then up on the core supports. I think I'm going to clean that up a little bit. So I went ahead and sanded all that down there. I think I still need to get that a little better. You need to wipe it down. Like I said, you should use lacquer thinner or mineral spirits or something, but we don't have that, and we're not building a show car, so let's spray this down precisely with the straw with brake clean. Look at that action. Works just as good. We're headed to SEMA. Even hacks mask stuff off sometimes. Not usually, though. That's how it looks after the second coat of primer. We're going to get ready and hit it with the top coat of water. So that's where I paint it in the bay. It's the best looking part of the bay. I should not have used a gloss product. I should have used like a semi-gloss or a satin like I did on the floor pans because that kind of match. This sticks out like a sore thumb, but hey, it's not rusty anymore. I know the wife's gonna want me to paint the whole bay now. So the next thing we're going to do in cleaning this car up and stripping it down so we can put her back together is we're going to pull out this padding in the middle here, and then it runs up behind the firewall. I know for a fact there's some floorboard rust under that. I've seen it under the car. There is a small hole. I don't know how big it is, but we're going to find out here once we pull this up. Surprise! Yeah, that's kind of ugly. We're going to clean it up some, see what we got to cut out. And we got some more rust on the passenger side of the car. That's all surface rust. I ain't too worried about that. I'll clean that up myself. Over the hump looks pretty good. Firewall don't look too bad, but we're gonna finish taking this matting out. So color me lucky. I tried getting T-tops off this car multiple times. I just figured they were broken. They weren't locked, but they wouldn't come off. So I was just kind of messing around, getting ready to pull the dash out, and I'm like, hey, it says it's not locked. And I pushed up and they both came off. So I towed it over here down the interstate at 70 miles an hour with the T-tops unlatched. Luckily, they didn't fall off. And we're actually surprisingly looking decent up here. Not great. Seals still seem very, not dry. I don't know what the word is. Malleable. They don't seem to leak. Metal looks good with the exception of right here. And actually, that just kind of seems like surface rust. So we're going to clean that up a little bit. So I went ahead and pulled the windshield trim back. As you can see, it's rusty in there. We're going to sand this up and clean it up quick. So I hit that with some primer. It's still kind of divotty there, but it's solid. Got all the rust out. Hit it with primer. I'm going to get some black spray paint. I'll finish it up next time I'm over here. So the next thing we're doing here is we're taking this ugly door trim off. It was white when the car was new, almost 30 years ago. So Steph's working the scraper, I'm working the heat gun. Driver's side's done. I got all the trim off, and then I went back and got most of the adhesive off. You can obviously see where it's at. I'm gonna come back with some goo gun and get it. Pro tip, don't put the heat gun on high and don't get too close to the plastic letters on the door. The B's a little toasty. It would have been slightly funnier if I would have burnt the word fire. All right, thanks for tuning in. That's a little update on the Firebird. It's over here at the shop. Got some rust fixed up on the roof, got the skinnies on, got the roller wheels on the back, started taking this off the side here. That ugly trim looks a lot better. Got to finish cleaning that up. But it's here, and plan is going to leave under its own power. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button so you can follow along as we start reassembly on this thing. And maybe I'll see you at the parts store grabbing something I forgot to buy for this. Later.